Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest installment of the America 250 Super Season. Big Polly coming to you on the morning of June 10, 2026. First of two games we will be doing today, one with the America 250 Super Season, and then we'll come back and do the Time Travel Baseball League. This is game day number 3 of 162, and yes, we're going to do all the games, all 162 games. And today we're heading out west for a battle between the Chicagoland Classics, made up of Cubs and White Sox players, obviously, and the Pacific Powers, made up of all the California teams, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Angels, the A's, and the Giants, when they were all in California, of course, and the Seattle Mariners, Seattle Pilots, although I don't think I had any Seattle Pilots make it to this gallant team of powers. We're playing the game at Dodger Stadium in the daytime. It's getaway day, so some of these teams they have a day off on April 10th, which will be tomorrow, and everybody will get a day rest before we pick up things with game day number 4. So it's Red Farber against Gaylord Perry in this battle. I will play as the home team, as I always try to do when I'm playing Action PC Baseball. Here's your lineup for the Pacific Powers. Remember, no DH, so some of these players who are normally DHs are going to have to play the field. Do it the traditional way. No shootouts if we get to extra innings. And here is your Chicago lineup, and we'll go through it as the game progresses, so you won't miss a thing.
Pitching for Pacific, Gaylord Perry.
Perry taking the mound. Of course, he played with many teams, I think at least 8 different teams in the major leagues with that spitball of his. And let's show you the lineup for the Chicagoland Classics. It is right in front of you. A solid lineup, 1 through 9. I mean, Ernie Banks is your 8-hitter. I mean, it just goes to show you this is a solid lineup. Watch out for Frank Thomas, the big hurt. He's always dangerous. And here is your defense for the Pacific Powers. The only 10 in the lineup is, of course, Willie Mays. And we'll go ahead and start this game. Gaylord Perry, his projection should be 19 and 15, 265. Could go a lot of innings. 316 and a third, and his whip is 1122, or that's what it should be. It's probably not where things will wind up. And Kai Kyler will lead off. The Classics got swept by the Powers in the first 2 games, so they're trying to avoid a 3-game sweep in this day game. Yeah, I know it kind of looks kind of twilighty, but that's the background I chose to use. 77 degrees, it's clear, a very, very slight wind left to right as we begin this game. Kyler so far 1 for 7 on the year, 143. And that's K to start it off for Gaylord Perry. Let me just do my OBS double check. It is working fine. Excellent. On to Billy Herman, who has started 1 for 9, 111. Hit well to right, but Winfield, with that 9 range of his, is going to make the play. And now it's Frank Thomas, so far 2 for 4, has played in one of the 2 games. And the big hurt sends one out to very shallow short, and A-Rod made the play. Davey Lopes will lead off for the Pacific Powers, but let's show you the lineup in toto. You see it there. The game has A-Rod as a Seattle Mariner, so that's why he makes the Pacific Powers list. And here is your defense for the Chicagoland Classics. You got a couple of 9s in the lineup, and Ron Santo and Billy Herman. But it's built for offense, not really for defense. Davey Lopes leading off. He is 4 for 9 And a very, very good base runner and bunter. As you see there, the corners are in, so we swing away. It's a base hit, just past the shortstop. No, it was Billy Williams making a bad play that allowed Lopes to get to second. Dave Winfield now up 1 for 8, hitting 125. Faber can go 130 pitches. Let's look at him real fast. Should have an ERA around 274, a whip of 1304, so hitters are going to hit off of him, and he can go 253 innings. Perry can go 130. Faber could go 135. Perry only needed 10 pitches to get out of the first inning. So with a runner at second, let's see what Winfield does. That is hit to left. Williams going back near the track, making the put out on Lopes. Thinking of Little Red Lopez, the old featherweight champ who had some tough battles with Salvador Sanchez. Edgar Martinez is up, hitting 2 of 8 for today, for the season, hitting 250. And Edgar with a drive to center. Williams near the wall, making the play. 2 gone now for Barry U.S. Bonds. 3 for 9, 333 so far in just 2 games. Last chance for the Powers in this first inning, and he hits a drive to right. Kyer at the wall, making the play. So neither team scoring in the first inning. We go to the second, no score, and that brings up Hack Wilson. Wilson, who once had a season where he had 191 runs batted in, is 2 for 8 so far. I take that back. I'm looking at the wrong column. I'm looking at the runs column. He is 1 of 8, 125. That's K for Perry. That is number 2 for him. Gabby Hartnett is 2 of 8 for the season, 250. Who hit the homer and the globing in a famous end-of-season game in the late 30s. I want to say it was 1938, but it could be 39, but he's on with a single. Billy Williams, 0 for 4 so far this season. Hartnett tries to steal second, and that's a no-dicer. Piazza not the best of arms behind the dish, but he made the put out there, or the assist to the put out. And there's now 2 out, and the count up 1-0 to Billy Williams. And that's a walk. So again, another base runner for the Classics as they go to Ron Santo. Santo, 286, 2 for 7 so far this season. Santo hits this well to left, but Bonds makes the play, and the side is retired. After an inning and a half, we have no score. To the bottom of the second now, an A-Rod, 3 of 9 so far this season. That's hit well to left, and Williams makes the play just in front of the warning track for the first out. Big Mac, Mark McGwire, is 0 for 8 this season. In my other league, the Time Travel League, he just had a game where he hit 4 home runs. So he's capable. That's a K for Faber. That is his first. Not known as a strikeout artist. He only had 102 Ks in 253 innings pitched. Willie Mays is 1 for 5 to start the season. And he gets a walk. And we go to Mike Piazza, the 8-hitter. A very potent hitter. He is 3 for 10 so far this season. This is hit well to left. Williams at the track making the play. Side retired after 2, no score. Ernie Banks, 0 for 9 to start the season. That is AK, number 3 for Gaylord Perry. And we get to the pitcher spot of the lineup. Red Faber, projected to hit 149, and this is his first at-bat of the season. That is a walk, and you don't want to be walking pitchers. Faber aboard, a pretty decent base runner for a pitcher. It rated at a 6. Kai Kyler, we go back to the top of the order, 0 for 1, hitting 125. And that was an attempt at a stolen base. The throw got away from the middle infielders. It wound up in center field, and now Faber is at third with 1 out. Kyler, not the best of bunters. He's a rated 5 out of 10, 10 being good. That's a base hit. We have our first run of the game. So Kyler singles in Faber, and it's 1-0. Billy Herman is 0 for 1. 100 for the season. Throw back to first. The runner is safely there. The pitch. Safe is the call, and Kyler now has his second stolen base. Babe Herman now facing an 0-1 count. Hit well to center. Mays making the play in front of the wall. Nicely done for the second out. Perry is now up to 39 pitches through 2 2/3. Like to get that pitch count down. Frank Thomas 0 for 1, now hitting 400. That's a K for Perry. That is number 4. So the Chicagoland Classics pick up their first run. And going to the bottom of the third, it is 1-0. Gaylord Perry, your hitter, should hit 132, and this is his first at-bat of the season, as one might think. Faber is at 31 pitches through 2 innings. That's a K for Faber, number 2 on the game and the season for him, and we go back to the top of the order, second time through, for Davey Lopes, 1 for 1, now hitting 500. That is a walk, and you don't want to put Lopes on base. A 10-runner. Perhaps not a threat to steal bases with Hartnett with the 7-arm, but not a good sign if you are with the Chicagoland Classics and rooting for them. Pardon me for coughing. Winfield 0 for 1, 111. Throw to first, runner back. Faber now at 42 pitches. That is another walk. That is number 3 for Faber against 2 strikeouts. And that brings up Edgar Martinez 0 for 1 today, 222 on the season. Santo executes a double play. It was Santo to Herman over to Frank Thomas. And the Classics get out of a jam in the bottom of the third. To the top of the fourth we go. And the score, 1-0. Hack Wilson, 0 for 1 today, 111 on the season. Oh, a line drive, and Mays makes a beautiful play at the shoe tops. 1 out. And that brings up Gabby Hartnett, who is 1 for 1, hitting 333 on this young season. That is a walk. Now, Perry has had control issues in this game, too. He has 3 walks against 4 Ks. He is at 56 pitches through just 10 outs, 3 1/3 innings. So I kind of wonder if either of these guys is going to make it the distance, which kind of happens a lot in this America 250 Super Season. Williams, not an official at bat yet because he walked in the second, so he is still 0 for 4. Hit well to left, but right to Barry Bonds for the second out. Bringing up Ron Santo. 0 for 1 today, 250 for the season. And this time, Hartnett tries to steal again second base, and he gets in. That is stolen base number 1 for Hartnett. Kyler, Herman, and Red Faber have also stolen bases, at least in the lineup today. So now 1-0 to count to Santo with 2 outs and a runner at second. But a soft line drive right to Martinez, and the side is retired. After 3.5, it's 1-0. And Barry Bonds, your hitter now for the Pacific Powers, 0 for 1, 300. He walks. That is walk number 4 for Red Faber. He's up to 56 pitches, having retired 9 hitters. So both these guys are having control issues today on this 79-degree day in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine. A-Rod is 0 for 1, hitting 300. That's going to be a base hit to right. Kyler slow to get to it. It nearly got to the wall. And Rodriguez is in with his first double of the season. Bonds got to third base, did not come in. So with nobody out and runners at second and third, you have Mark McGuire up 0 for 1 today, 0 for 9 for the season, and he struck out in his first at-bat. And now he has struck out in his second at-bat. That is 3 Ks for Red Faber. 1 out now for Willie Mays. Walked in inning number 2. We're in inning number 4 right now, and he is still 1 for 5 for the season. That is K number 4. So Red Faber getting the Classics in better position in this inning, going from second and third with nobody out to second and third with 2 outs. And that brings up Mike Piazza, 273. I saw him play at Chase Stadium as a New York Met. He was very, very briefly. Well, it wasn't very, very briefly with them. Well, he was there a couple of seasons, a few seasons, I think. It was right after the Florida Marlins got him, and then the Marlins subsequently traded him to the boys at Chase Stadium. Piazza today 0 for 1, hitting .273. Thanks to Herman, side retired, so the Powers failed to score in the fourth. We go to the fifth. 1-0. Ernie Banks is 0 for 1. 0 for 10 on the season, and now he's 0 for 11 after that strikeout. 5 now for Gaylord Perry. Red Faber is now back up. He of the walk in the third inning, so no official at-bats for him. And that is K number 6, so Perry back-to-back Ks. For Kyler, third time through for Chicagoland. He is 1 for 2. And that was McGuire making the play first to Faber, who was covering first, side retired. Halfway home, it's 1-0. We go to the bottom of the fifth, and the pitcher's spot in the lineup is Gaylord Perry. Perry is 0 for 1. And that was Thomas having to play his position and have the pitcher cover, Faber, for the first out. Davey Lopes is 1 for 1, hitting .500. He walked earlier. That's a line drive to Hack Wilson. We're out number 2, bringing up Dave Winfield, who is 0 for 1 today, and now hitting .111. Aces wild. That's hit well to left. Williams makes the play at the warning track, and we have played fifth innings, a very quiet game so far. 1-0 Chicagoland. Billy Herman 0 for 2, hitting .091. Ball 4. Here's the call. Herman aboard. That is now walk number 4 for Gaylord Perry, who is now at 81 pitches through 5 innings plus. Frank Thomas is 0 for 2, hitting .333. Struck out earlier. And he walks. And the Big Hurt gets his walk, so that is 5 now for Perry. Back-to-back walks in this frame. Hack Wilson is 0 for 2. He had a K, and he's hitting .100 on the season. Hit well to center. Mays with the play right at the wall. The runners do not advance. With 1 out, we go to Gabby Hartnett, and Hartnett is now 1 for 1, hitting .333. Walked earlier. Up the middle, a base hit. Herman holds at third base. So the base is full of classics for Billy Williams, who now bats with 1 out, 0 for 1 and a walk. He's 0 for 5 for the season. Be a good time for him to get a hit, and he does. A poor play by Lopes, and everybody moves up a base on that single, and it's 2-0. Ron Santo 0 for 2, hitting .222. Wouldn't mind hitting a long ball here, I'm sure. That's a K, number 7 for Gaylord Perry, trying to work himself out of a spot here. In the bottom of the 6th, it is now Ernie Banks' turn, 0 for 2, 2 Ks. Grounder foul. Count will stay 2-2. And this is a base hit. That's going to plate 2. Everybody moving up 2 bases, but an error is going to bring in a third run. Williams, and it is 5-0. And that's going to be it for Gaylord Perry. We'll see who we could bring in to replace him. I'm going to bring somebody who hasn't been used yet. Sandy Koufax, 205. Want to save him for a start. Don Drysdale, 229. Who else could I bring? Now, is Drysdale a part of the rotation? Let's look at that before I make my determination. No, he is not. Neither is Koufax, surprisingly. So we are going to put Sandy Koufax in the game. and he will be our reliever.
Pitching for Pacific, Sandy Koufax.
Koufax with a whip of 10-13, 18-8, 2.49 ERA. Was obviously one of the great pitchers of all time, had what some sports writers call the left arm of God. And he does especially well against lefties. He's facing the pitcher right now, who is Red Faber, who is 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout so far today. And you know Koufax is going to get his strikeouts. Just like that. So Chicagoland now out of the inning, but they plated 4. And we go to the bottom of the 6th with the score 5-0. Edgar Martinez is up. Martinez 0 for 2 today, 2 for 10 for the season, hitting 200. Hit well to center. Wilson with a beautiful play. It's center field, right by the wall. Barry Bonds with 1 out comes up 0 for 1, 300. And this is Thomas the Favor covering first for out number 2, bringing up A-Rod. 1 for 2, a double, 364. Favor at 86 pitches, pitching a shutout so far. Or did I speak too soon? Foul ball is the call. Count now 1-2 to A-Rod. Grounder, that's going down the left field line, and A-Rod hustles to second, his second double of the game and the season. And the Powers have a lot of power hitters, and they can get back into games quickly, as evidenced by the man at the plate right now. Mark McGwire, 0 for 2, 0 for 10 on the season, 2 Ks today. Can he get something going? Oh, right to Herman, over to Thomas for the final out in the bottom of the 6th. So Koufax looking like he will have one more inning to pitch. We'll bring in a pinch hitter in the 7th. And your score is 5-0. One-sided dominance so far in this game for the Chicagoland Classics. Say hello to everybody over at Box Scores from the Basement. I was watching their show, which is on a Tuesday night. They had Keith Avalone on, and Mark and Ron played another game in their series. I haven't seen the finish of it yet, but I will. Kai Kyler, 1 for 3, hitting 200, starting off the bottom of the 7th. That is a grounder. Safe is the call, an infield hit for Kai Kyler, as Martinez just a split second slow getting the ball to transfer from the glove to the hand. So Kyler aboard for Billy Herman, who is 0 for 2 today with a walk, 091. That's going to be a base hit. Winfield collecting that, and now Chicago with something going, even against the great Sandy Koufax. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Frank Thomas. And Thomas is the kind of guy who, if you're facing a Koufax, this is the kind of guy you want. He is 0 for 2 today, 2 for 6 on the season. He walked and struck out earlier. So pivotal moment here in this game. That's a K for Koufax. That is number 2. Both of the men who he is retired have been by the strikeout route. Hack Wilson, 0 for 3, 091. And I'm sure the Pacific Powers would love a double play here. That is another K for Sandy Koufax. And you don't need double plays if you got Koufax going. Number 3 for Koufax. And now it's Gabby Hartnett's turn to try to keep the inning going. 2 for 2, a walk, hitting 400. That's hit well to center. And that is gone. A home run for Gabby Hartnett. No homer in the gloaming here. A 3-run bomb, and it is now 8-0 in favor of the Classics. And the fans here at Dodger Stadium looking around at each other, and they are walking back to the parking lot, wanting to get on the highways and get back home, try to watch the end of this one. Billy Williams is now up 1 for 2, hitting 167. And Drysdale's going to come in. Drysdale could hit for himself, too. And that's up the middle, a base hit. I was going to say Drysdale for the 8th, but the computer recommended what the computer recommended. So with Williams at first, and Ron Santo could get something going here. 0 for 3, 200. Had a K today. And that is smack to right field. Winfield making the play. So it's been all Chicagoland Classics today, 8-0. And Gabby Hartnett going 3 for 3 so far. 3 ribbies and 2 runs. Now, I see a conference going on in the Pacific Powers dugout. They could be contemplating, do we give Drysdale an at-bat here? Because he is a pretty good hitting pitcher. But let's first get through Willie Mays. 0 for 1 today, 167. Favre is at 96 pitches. Got to get 9 more outs to go to distance, and that's a high fly to Wilson for the first out. Mike Piazza 0 for 2, 250. That is a K. Now, Drysdale could hit 200. And against righties, his OPS is not all that terrible at 560. I think he had one season in the late 50s and 59 when they were playing at the Coliseum where he hit 14 home runs. Let's see what the computer wants to do. And he's going to leave him in, but that was a K for Faber, number 6 on the game. So nothing across for the Powers, and the score is 8-0. Speaking of nils, we have the World Cup soccer tournament starting in North America tomorrow. Ernie Banks 1 for 3, 3 ribbies, 2 Ks. I think the Netherlands have the best shot at it. That's my pick. I think the Americans will make the last 16. 1 for 3, 083 is what Banks has been doing. That's a walk for Drysdale, and the pitching for the Powers today has been putrid. It's going to bring up Red Farber, 0 for 2 and a walk and 2 Ks. That's a bunt. That's going to move Banks to second base. Bringing up the top of the order, and this will be the 5th time through for the Classics, and it's going to be Kai Kyler, 2 for 4, hitting 273. So I will record the game between in our time travel league later this afternoon. It's 11:18. I'm going to watch the Rays play at 1 o'clock against the Boston Red Sox. Looking for the sweep as they have beat him the last 2 nights, 3-1, 4-3. And Herman up 1 for 3 today, 167 on the season, 2 for 12. That is a walk, and now Drysdale's got himself in a bit of a pickle here with the bases loaded. For the big hurt, Frank Thomas 0 for 3, 2 for 7 on the season, hitting 286. He has walked today and struck out twice, and Drysdale could use a K here. Hit the center. Mays making the put out. Banks will score. Everybody moves up a base on the sac fly, and it is 9-0. Now, if I wasn't doing this game in front of you all here on YouTube, if it got to 10, I would just shut the rest of it down. But we'll keep playing. Hank Wilson is 0 for 4, 2 Ks. 083 on the season. And he hits it to left, and that is gonzo. Wilson rounds the bases, plating 3. 12-0 Chicagoland. Gabby Hartnett is 3 for 3. And will the hook come for Don Drysdale? Yes, it will. Frank Tanana Daiquiri, as Chris Berman would say, is the new pitcher. That is down the line, and Hartnett has a double before Bonds could get to it. 11 hits on 12 runs for Chicago, so they are being very efficient with their hits. And it's now Billy Williams, 2 for 3, hitting 286. Lopes to McGuire, and a little bit of a Bronx cheer out of the fans that are still at Dodger Stadium. 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th, and it's 12-0 Classics. So no sweep for the Powers, at least in this series. They will play again. They will play each other 3 more series. Well, at least 3. They might be in the same division. Actually, they are in the same division, so they play each other 15 more times. Davey Lopes is 1 for 2. I'm looking at my bench. I got Chetfield and Trout I can bring on. But we won't do that just yet. And that got away from the catcher who threw to first and decides retired. That is 7 Ks now for Faber, who's at 113 in terms of the pitch count. And I would suspect that the Chicago manager just might keep him going. No threat that this game is going to be anywhere close, but you never know in baseball. Dave Winfield over 2-100. There was that wild game in Vegas the other night between the Brewers and the A's, as that's a high fly to left caught by Williams. And Edgar Martinez is up 0 for 3, 182. And there's a first sign of life for the Powers as Edgar Martinez drilled that deep to right center. Hope that didn't hit a car in the parking lot. And it is 12-1. Barry Bonds 0 for 2 on the day, 273. Count will now be 2-2 to Barry. Looking for another big bang, and that's a base hit to right. So you never know in the world of baseball when a rally is going to start. A-Rod 2 for 3, 2 doubles, 417 on the day. There's K number 8 for Faber. So we go to the ninth with the score 12-1. Let's see if I can make some defensive replacements. Trout's going to play left, Mike Trout. And we are going to... Now I can't put A-Rod over at third because who would play shortstop? Well, I would get Jim Fergosi. So we'll move A-Rod to third. And Jim Fergosi is going to come in and play shortstop. So we empty the bench a little bit, and we have Posey, who could play, he's normally a catcher, could play first base, and Jason Giambi. We'll keep McGuire in. So Ron Santo hitting, 0 for 4 today, and a K. He's 182 on the season. Lopes to McGuire on that ground ball. Nice play by Lopes showing his range. 1 out for Ernie Banks, who is 1 for 3. 3 RBIs. 2 Ks today, and he also walked. That's hit well to left. Trout making the play, but he got hurt in left field. So Gary Shetfield's going to have to come in and play left. Trout made 1 play, and he got hurt already. So Red Faber coming in 0 for 2. Will they let him hit? They will. That's K for Tanana, number 1. And it's probably the only one he will have today. Bottom of the ninth. Can the Powers get 11 runs? I don't think so. 12-1. And Big Mac up 0 for 3 on the day, 0 for 11 on the season. That is K number 9 for Red Faber. He's at 130. I would suspect they're going to just leave him in, unless he really gets into trouble. Willie Mays 0 for 2 today, 143 on the season. That is a walk. Bringing up Mike Piazza, who is 0 for 3. Pitcher coming up next, so we'll have to go to a pinch hitter. Piazza to left, and Williams will make the play. Do we have anybody left? Let's see. We have Jason Giambi. We have Tim Salmon. And we have Buster Posey. I'm going to go with the best odds and bring in Salmon. Tim Salmon, a 9.6% run chance.
Tim Salmon.
Salmon should hit 295. This is his first at bat in the season. 28.97 is his numbers. 28 homers, 97 RBIs. So OPS should be around 920. He had an at bat actually earlier in the season. It was a walk. See what Salmon can do. Hit well to left. Williams has the final out. This game is over. And Chicagoland with a huge 12-1 win.
The final score from Dodger Stadium, Chicagoland 12, Pacific 1, Red Faber is the winner. He is now 1-0 on the season. Gaylord Perry gets the loss. He is now 0-1. Hack Wilson hit home run number 2 on the season. Gabby Hartnett hit number 2. Edgar Martinez hit number 1. Time of the game, 3 hours, 23 minutes.
And Red Faber was the MVP of the game, sponsored by the car company of your choice. I will come back and play the rest of these games off camera. And we'll be back with game day number 4, which we're going to go to the Field of Dreams Park in Iowa for, home of the National Heroes, and they will be taking on the American Pioneers, I'm pretty sure. fact, let me just double check and see that that is exactly what I have right. We're trying to visit the 12 different parks for these first 12 games. I don't know if we will be able to do that, but that's my first priority right now, is to visit the remainder of these parks. We have done our first 3 games in 3 different parks. And yes, it will be the National Heroes and the American Pioneers. Old Hoss Radborn against Lundgren. That is the projected matchup. So I hope you enjoyed today's game, if not the outcome. It was a bit of a one-sided game. This has been Big Paulie. Godspeed, God bless. We will do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.